So I'm here with my friend Moses, and he's a street preacher just as I am. And Troy's going to
Excellent.
share, yeah, and Troy's on the line. He's going to share a little bit about some of his beliefs and how maybe you can share a little bit about how you met me. Anyway, we were. Well, I'll let you go ahead and explain, Troy, your beliefs and how you met
Um,
me and that kind of thing.
yeah, so I met Joshua standing on the street corner. I'm in Anaheim. I was there for a trade show for work, but I was also there to hook up with one of my girlfriends. And so I was waiting to cross the street. I was standing on the street corner. There's Joshua with his sign that I don't remember it exactly, but it said something to the effect of Jesus is the only way, or you'll burn in hell. I looked at him, I read the sign, and I said, I disagree. Um,
Now,
Joshua and I have been in a philosophical conversation since that day. We exchanged contact information. We've we've texted back and forth. I've kept him updated on some of my wacky adventures, and it's been fantastic. He's never lost his temper. He's never backed away from it, and he and I disagree on probably the definition between good and evil, and yet we can get along well enough to have this conversation. I've invited him to my home. If he's ever in my area, we're going to go out to dinner. I've been excited to know him, and I'm thankful that we've been able to do this.
yeah, thanks for sharing, Troy. Yeah, it's not, I think that you're definitely a neat person to talk to, just to get to know you too. And now, um, I explained a little bit about the fear of the Lord and the need to fear God. Maybe Moses, can you explain what you believe about the fear of God and why it's important to fear God? And then we'll ask you, Troy, what you think about that.
Sure, that'd be great.
Okay, so um, yeah, thanks, brother Joshua. Um, the fear of God. I mean, in its simplest terms, what does it mean to fear God? For the unbeliever, the fear of God is the fear of the judgment of God and eternal death. So, which is eternal separation from God. And I can give you evidence for that, which is in Luke chapter 12, verse 5. Um, and it says, but I will warn whom to fear. Fear him who, after he has killed, has authority to cast into hell. Yes, I tell you, fear him.
And that's Jesus that said
And
that,
that's that
right?
Jesus
Mm-hmm.
that said that
Yeah.
in the one of the Gospels. Um, and so it also says in the book of Hebrews, it's a fearful thing to fall in the hands of the living God. So that's the fear of God for the unbeliever. But now there's a
I
distinguish.
am fascinated by both of those statements, by the way.
Now, Troy, I know that. Now, maybe you can share a little bit about your beliefs as far as you said that you don't believe that you'll be judged, that you can be your own sovereign. Like,
Yeah.
explain some of that stuff. I guess. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've been on my own spiritual journey for quite a little while. There is the path forward is not faith, my friends. The path forward is acceptance. It's when you are in that turmoil, in that place of doubt and fear and worry. You're in the valley of the shadow of darkness. You're between two walls. One wall is the unacceptable. It's the thing you don't want to face. The other wall is the unbelievable. Um, Faith is a choice. Faith is where you choose to believe the unbelievable, so you don't have to face the unacceptable. Um, Acceptance is hard. It takes time to process. It's one of the hardest things we can do, but it's the path forward. Where faith, no, you just cycle. You'll feel better until you doubt, and then you lose your faith, and then you go through the process again, and you keep sliding back down into that valley. The path forward is to accept reality, and that's hard. I know.
So far as your reality, like as far as I know, we've disagreed on. I believe you should be married to have sexual relations. What is your opinion about that? And of course,
Well,
male and female versus male and male, and
whatever.
go ahead.
Yeah, no, no. So here's the thing. If you can find acceptance with the world, if you can find acceptance with God, if you can find acceptance with reality, along that way, you will find your answers. And part of that is finding divine authority. I have accepted my mortality. When I die, I cease to exist. There's no afterlife for me. I have given up my soul. In exchange, there is no higher authority for me. God doesn't get to tell me what to do. I am not God's child. He's not my Lord. He's just God. And I think of that more of the universe itself and not like a entity, but the entire thing, all of the universe, all at once. And I do think it wants us to be happy. But I'm in charge. There's no punishment, there's no reward that you can offer me to give up my agency. Every decision I make is mine. Everything that I do is what I decide to do. And that means my mistakes are mine to own. But this is all the time I have. I only have so many days. And then I'm gone.
So
that being...
Yeah. Go ahead. Oh, I was just going to ask you real quick then. So do you believe in the concept of sin, or have you ever sinned? You said that you don't really believe in that, or...
No. There's no. I forgive my own sins. You get that when you have divine authority. Gives me a short list of things I get to be able to do. I have the same authority God has. That means I can do things like bless babies, consecrate ground, declare holidays, forgive sins. I forgive my own sins, and my sins, my morals are what I decide they are. I have that authority. No one tells me right from wrong. No one tells me what to do. And so by that, no, I make up my own rules. They're simple, but I make my own.
Moses. I was going to ask Moses. Moses, did you want to share anything, or
as far as what he touched?
What he just said?
Yeah. Sure. So just one quick question, Troy. I'm glad you shared your views, and just wanted to know. You correct me if I'm wrong. Are you an atheist, by the way?
No. I'm agnostic. I like the idea of a universe that wants us to be happy. I also. I don't suspect that there's anything at all of an afterlife, only because I'm a design engineer by trade, and the trying to create a world model that also includes ghosts complicates the model a little bit more than it seems necessary. The world doesn't need ghosts, so it just doesn't. It can function perfectly happy without ghosts.
So you're referring to God as a ghost, or what's...
Magic.
Oh.
The world doesn't need magic. I can accept a world that doesn't have that. At the same time, I like the idea of a universe that wants us happy. And what I've found in my life is that when I act out of love and respect for everyone around me, I've found happiness that I didn't know I could have. I didn't know anyone could be this happy. And I am. I live in a world without experiencing anger or embarrassment or shame or guilt or jealousy. All day long, for me, it's joy. I'm happy. All day.
So what is your opinion about Jesus Christ? What do you think, who he was? And
I think he was a person. I think he was a person a lot like me. And I think he tried. And then I think he got nailed up by the local organized religion, and then his message was corrupted into an organized religion. I don't think Jesus had magical powers. I just don't. There's nothing in the Bible to suggest he had magical powers. Lazarus wasn't dead; he was asleep, according to Jesus. All Jesus did was say, "No, he's not dead. He's asleep. Lazarus, get up." No, it's unnecessary. That is a corruption of the message. It's intended to separate us from
okay.
philosophy.
Okay, let me ask you this. I know that you quoted some scripture there, basically, but what it actually says is that for some time, for some days, he was dead, and he began to even. Hold on, let me finish. He even began to stink. It says in the scriptures that the smell of death. So it wasn't asleep. He was actually literally dead. If you believe the scriptures.
No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't. I believe if you read the entire Bible cover to back, which I did, you can get kind of the gist of it. And that's about all you need. No, I don't believe that. I don't believe in magic. Now, if Jesus was magical and I'm wrong, I'm okay with that. But that would be some pretty interesting and new information. I would need a lot of data to support that. An outrageous claim needs an extraordinary amount of data. And so no.
So
look, I went to a birthday party and they pulled a rabbit out of a hat in front of 14 people. I could write down that happened. But it doesn't mean that person had magical powers. It just means that's what it looked like.
So you've never had, I guess, consequences for sin, would you say, in your life?
I don't sin. I do not lie. I tell everyone the absolute truth all the time. I don't deceive anyone, unless maybe you're a member of the authorities and I want to save you some paperwork because you're asking me dumb questions. But that's not a lie I have to carry. No, I've got a handful of buddies that I care about very deeply. I've got a few girlfriends that I very much care about, that I love. I have a housemate that legally I'm married to. And they all know about each other, and they know all about my aunt. I don't hide anything.
Yeah.
And no, there's no bad consequences for that. There's no arguing. There's no jealousy.
So you're talking.
All of that comes from lying.
Now, you're talking about partners physically, right? Like intimately, right?
Yeah. On occasion. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. I just see them at different times. But yeah, and they're all special to me in different ways. Yeah. But yes. They bring me joy.
Well, I hope one day you will consider reading some of the scriptures, and I hope that you'll have faith in it one day.
I don't need that. I have divine authority. I make my own decision. I don't seek fear or obedience. I seek love and acceptance. I'm not afraid.
Moses, did you want to share anything?
Sure. I mean, okay. So going back to what you were saying about agnosticism, which I'm not sure, because I know that there's some theist agnosticism.
God may be exactly as you describe. Imagine that. Imagine my reward if he is. It'll be better than yours. By your definition. If your rules stand true, imagine what that means.
Well, it would mean that you would be way off course, and
I'm not.
And God promises.
I'm not.
Well, okay, I understand you believe that, but I'm just saying what it would mean is because God says that He's going to judge the people that are involved in sexual immorality and fornication, adultery, all that kind of stuff. So that's what God says.
Not that. This isn't adultery.
Well, didn't you say you were tell me about the poly wedding again?
Are you actually telling me? Are you telling me that God doesn't allow human beings to have sex unless they file the paperwork with the local church?
Well, is that
the requirement?
It's
is the requirement to love each other and for them to matter and for their happiness to be important to you?
Well,
you don't care if they beat each other and they hate each other, but as long as they file the right paperwork with the local church, then it's okay? No.
Well, fornication and marriage are two different things, and it's not love to fornicate with somebody.
I'm not married.
Yeah. So fornication isn't actually love; it's acting in lust, not love. That's the
I'm not
difference.
acting in lust, my friend.
Okay. Well,
Everything I do is out of love.
so when you
No,
fornicate, go ahead.
So by
no. When I have sex,
can I
and
ask you
I have a
something?
fair amount, yeah, it's out of appreciation, it's out of love, it's out of kindness, and it matters to me.
So let's start off by what is love?
Oh my goodness. Love is acceptance. Love is when someone's happiness is important to you, when they matter. Um, haven't you ever felt that? Um, there's no rules with love, by the way. There's no conditions. There's no requirements. They just matter. When someone is bonded to you, they just matter. That's all. Um,
So what would you
and
say,
when
Moses? Oh, I'm gonna ask.
and you don't need to break those bonds with someone in order to have an emotional connection with somebody new.
So what do you think, Moses, about love? How would you define love?
Yeah, well, love is just, it's not feelings. It's not, oh, well, I feel like I love this person. It's not like that. It's actually, um, and I agree with what you said on, it's not like you force that person. No, that person, like, will love you the way who you are. With love has no conditions, which is the agape love of God, the unconditional love, which is, well, we only have one um, term, like one word for it in the English translation. But if you look at the Septuagint in the Greek, there's actually four, could be more than that if I'm not mistaken. But there's four that I know, which is agape love. There's eros, there's storge, and there's phileo. And part of that, is just love. In that sense, it's amen. Yeah, there's no conditions to it. Um, and you really love that person, like no matter what, like it doesn't change. If you truly love that person, if you didn't love that person, it was just meaningless. It wasn't.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, Moses. What's the difference between love and, I mean, if someone has sex with someone and they're not married and they say they love this person, is that true? Do they really love you if you're having sex with you out of marriage? What do you think?
No, that's not love at all.
And why isn't it?
Well, in that sense, I mean, that's where most society thinks today. Fortunately, I know some of them would cancel us, but not everybody. But the thing is that when it comes down to that, when someone who claims to love you, right? They wouldn't,
Oh,
have sex.
but what
Go ahead.
about the unconditional part?
Let
Isn't that
Moses.
a condition?
Well, let Moses finish. Go ahead, Moses.
Okay. And so, that's not, a lot of people think, that's why I said, I started off with love is not a feeling. A lot of people say, oh, well, this is love. Well, so love is, I love this person because I'm having sex with that person. It doesn't make any sense, because love doesn't necessarily mean, oh, well, this is my definition of love. Like, that's not love at all. If it was love, they would.
If you don't believe that sex builds those bonds, you don't know what sex is for.
Sex is in the context of marriage, not outside those, not outside that.
I don't file paperwork.
Well,
I'm
what?
not interested in someone else having agency over me. I'm not interested in someone else telling me what I do. I'm legally separated from my housemate. We were married. We became legally separated because I insisted on it, because I didn't want authority over her. I didn't want the state to have authority over me. There is nothing in this world that forces me to take care of her. There is no legal requirement for me to keep her in my home and to cook her food and to pay her bills. There is nothing that requires me to do that.
Well, hey.
And I do it.
Well,
I do it every day. And I will do it every day for the rest of my life. But it's my decision.
Well, Troy, I think I want to just thank you for talking with us. I'm gonna pray, of course, for you.
I will pray for you. I want to do this more often.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say
Because
I want to have another talk. Absolutely, I think it'll be neat. I'm going to have the viewers maybe comment and respond, and then we'll come back and have another conversation. And
fantastic.
yeah,
I appreciate you, Joseph. I really do.
Joshua, but you're close enough.
Joshua, I'm sorry.
Joseph.
You make me think, and I really appreciate it. It's been fantastic. Thank you for this opportunity.
No, thank you for coming on, and again, we'll be praying for you, and thank you once again.
Makes
And
me giggle.
I'll text you, and we'll stay in
Yeah.
touch for sure.
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
You appreciate it.
Thank you, Troy.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, friends, so please keep Troy in prayer. You can see where he's at spiritually, but we're praying for his salvation. I met him at Disneyland witnessing, and of course, pray for salvation for all those that we witnessed to, Moses and I and others, a lot of people street preaching, witnessing, that great change will come soon, to people's lives that need deliverance. So thanks for your prayers, support. Please share the video, like, subscribe, comment, and may God bless you all as you seek first kingdom always. Bye-bye.